And today we are talking about this is part 2 of our discussion from last week. We are talking about persons with disability and the struggles they face when it comes to relationships, friendships, marriage, and what have you. Last week we had Veronica here, and she opened our eyes to some of the challenges. And this week we are going to continue to part 2. But if you did not join us last week, I'm going to let my guests introduce themselves. Then we can take it from there. So, Madam Veronica, please introduce yourself again. And when you are done, Ohima Lena will also introduce herself to us.
Right, thank you, Nancy. You do these things so well. We are grateful to you. More
You're
grace to your
welcome.
elbow. Yeah.
Amen, amen. Thank you.
So my name is Veronica Amate, and I am a disability rights activist. I am also the founder of the Challenge Foundation.
Okay, so nice to meet you again. Madam Ohima Linda, let's hear from you, please.
So my name is Selena Kwache, but on my social media, a lot of people know me as Ohima Lena, and I'm an advocate for women and children with disability. I take the little opportunity that I get at functions, anywhere that I found myself in, to advocate for persons with disability.
Okay,
And
nice to meet you.
I'm also part of the Challenge Foundation as well.
Oh, okay, okay. Nice to meet you,
Same
Ohima
here.
Lina. And we
Thank
have a
you.
returning guest here too. Alidu is back. Alidu, welcome back.
Yes,
We are doing a
thank
part
you.
2 of our show from last week. And for those who were not here last week, I'd like for you to reintroduce yourself so that they know who they are talking. We are talking to today. Alidu, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I was just saying, can you please introduce yourself so that those who did not join last week would know who we are talking to?
Oh, okay. I am Ali Duotri, physically challenged and a member of the foundation. Lives in Ghana, Accra.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So last week we talked
You're
about
welcome.
some of the challenges that persons with disability face. We did not talk much persons living with disability, and we did not talk much about what the Challenge Foundation is even about. We didn't talk much about support groups and things like that. But since Ohima Lena is here for the first time, I would like to first listen to her and ask a few questions to her so she can also tell us about her experience working at the Challenge Foundation, the kinds of stories that she hears or the kinds of challenges that people that she works with have. And so that those of us who are able or who are, not living with any kind of disabilities, we will be able to understand better and know how to, cope and support our sisters and brothers who are living with disabilities. So last week, Madam Veronica advised us and encouraged us that it's best, instead of saying, a disabled person, it's best to say a person living with disability.
Okay.
And my first question is to Ohima Lina. Madam Lina, what are some of the things that we, persons who are not living with disability, we tend to overlook when it comes to persons living with disabilities?
That's deep. I think a lot.
Okay.
A lot. Sometimes discrimination. People might not even think that they are being discriminated, but they are by their actions. Um, in this part of the world, as Ghana or Africa, we have not really embraced disability.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is not something that we should, be proud of, but it has happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it is through maybe by accident or by chance. Nobody wants to be in that situation. But here's
Mm-hmm.
a case: people who are, let me put in quotes, able,
Mm-hmm.
makes we persons with disability feel very uncomfortable. For instance, you might be in a gathering, maybe you are a guest at a party or so, and you're supposed to join a particular table. The kind of
Mm-hmm.
look that people will even look at you joining because you are disabled, is somehow, it belittles you. And if you are one person who is not the highly spiritual person like myself, I always say that, look, I'm very motivated. I motivate myself. So sometimes I overlook those things. If
Mm-hmm.
you are someone that doesn't really, you know, you are easy to be emotional about what people treat you or how people treat you, then your spirit will calm down. But then people discriminate. Sometimes they don't want to get closer to you. The words that comes out of their mouth
Mm-hmm.
is not appealing at all. It's not appealing at all. In this part of our country, dear, or this part of our world, we are yet to get there. Yeah, we are yet to get there.
Wow. So, what I understand from your submission is even when we are trying to be um, nice, or not so obvious, let me use it, not so obvious, our
Mhm.
body language all still tells a different story.
Exactly.
So even when people don't
Exactly.
say anything, their body language tells you a different story. Our
Yes.
body language can make a person living with disability feel uncomfortable,
Very
or make
true.
them feel discriminated against.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And my second question back to you is, in situations like, like gatherings or occasions or events, when these kinds of looks happen, you said you have to be strong, I mean, emotionally, to be able to overlook these things. Uh, do you think that is could be a right moment for you to, like, um, educate somebody or point out something about somebody? Because sometimes you will not get a chance to be in a forum like this to educate people. And I feel like every opportunity should be a learning experience for us all. Is
True.
there, apart from overlooking it, is there something else that you can do to, I mean, to enlighten other people, especially those of us who are ignorant to the fact that our body language is, saying something else?
Okay, so before I go for a function, is either I sing as well. I'm a musician, I sing. So before I go for a function, I make sure it's either I'm going to perform or I'm going to have the stage for maybe a minute or two.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's the right opportunity for me to advocate. That is why I said in my intro that anytime I get the opportunity, I advocate for persons with disability.
Mm-hmm.
So with that kind of platform, I do that. I
Right.
educate people. Yes. So when I get the least opportunity, then I tell a lot, in fact, all the audience, because you're going to talk to one or two people. Moreover, they're giving you their body language. Their body language tells you they are not even ready.
To talk to
Okay.
you.
Yes. So here's the case: you have the mic to talk to everyone, whether they
Mhm.
like it or not. They are going to listen to you. So I think, to me, that's the right platform to use to advocate. Then I tell them this is how we are supposed to be treated, because it is not our fault. And each and every one is an inch from being disabled. You could be disabled through accident. Anything can happen within a twinkling of an eye. So after maybe doing this advocate, then they start to get closer to me. Some comes for numbers and everything. So that's the little opportunity I use to advocate.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Madam Veronica, how about you? Have you had a chance where, somebody's action or inaction has been, kind of used as discrimination towards you, and how do you handle that? Let's say, for instance, if it's a first date, a blind date, or whatever, and you go to and you are feeling this kind of discomfort in the other person's behavior or mood, and have you used that, or should one even use that instance as an opportunity to educate anybody?
Yeah, of course. Like Selena rightly said, people's attitude put us off a lot. For instance, there are a lot of people here that they will not want to mingle with you at all. I shared some experiences last week. Before I continue, I want to apologize for being too emotional last week, and even took me off from having that intellectual discussion. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's any need to apologize. Actually, it got me thinking about how naive, we are about the things that we do. You navigate this world and you think of yourself, I'm a good person. That's what everybody thinks of themselves, that I am a good person. I'm not a bad person. I did a reassessment of myself, like, have I been somewhere with a person living with disability, and I have checked myself to ask myself, how did I behave? How am I? Because in my immediate friend circles, I don't have a person with living with disability. I do have friends who have kids who have disability, and in my head, I am very accommodating. I treat them the same like I would treat every child. But it gave me an opportunity to, check myself. So I don't think you should apologize for having any raw emotions. We are all here to learn.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So, like I was saying, before I was not going to an African church because of their attitude. People will not want to, sometimes they don't speak, but their non-verbal communication really tells you what they mean. And so I was not going to an African church. I prefer to go to a German church because they are quite receptive towards persons with disabilities. Then later on, I took the courage, some few friends, sometimes they even look inspectively at the shoe. I wear orthopedic shoe. And the way you'll be looked at, you feel bad. And these are part of reasons why I was not mingling with the African community. So some few friends encouraged me, and then I started going. That attitude was still there until probably we having a function and you are given a role. I like to take roles, Then when you prove yourself to them, that is when the only time when they want to come closer to you, unless they see a talent or something in you. Anytime somebody sets eyes on you and they are not really close to you, one, they think you are you've not been to school, you are an illiterate, you should be dirty, you should be poor, you should not have a voice, like you said last time. Unless, of course, you prove yourself to them, that is when they will treat you with that respect and dignity. So when I started the Challenge Foundation 2 years ago during International Day of Persons with Disabilities, I took the opportunity to do some advocacy in my church. It's an African church. So I spoke to them to find out how many of them know about the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Most of them did not know about that day. I also found out if they have family members as PWDs, persons with disabilities. Some of them have, some of them, they are, one of their parents are even persons with disabilities. Some also have friends who are persons with disability. So I find out what is their attitude towards people like this.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them spoke about great talents that they see in people like that. So sometimes I'm confused. Which people exactly have been stigmatizing? Because the moment you get to somebody and you speak about it, you find out that like they seem to know a lot and to be accommodative.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know where those things have been coming from. Please, there was a man who stigmatized me when I came to Germany about 9 years ago. So, like Selena said, that each and every one of us is 1 inch away from being, we are not wishing for that for anybody. This man was the part of the people who really stigmatized me.
Wow.
2 years ago, anytime I speak about this thing, I say that it's not as if I'm happy that that man is in that condition.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody called me to say that this man was working and then he went into coma. Coming back,
Wow.
this man is now using a wheelchair.
Hmm.
He's not able to speak. The limbs are not functioning as I'm talking to you. You speak on phone, he will not be able to talk to you.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Mm.
that is it.
Well, it's true. I mean, at any given point in time, whether you are born with it or later in life, any one of us, due to some sickness, accident, so many things we cannot even think of, can end up, you know, uh, being a person living with disability. So, like you said, we don't know who these people are who are discriminated, but it does happen. For us to pretend that it does not happen will be false. It does happen, you know. The thing is, it happens, like you said, it happens in the whispers, it happens in the looks. That is where it
That
happens.
is right. Yeah.
It doesn't happen so obvious, you know. I think for most people who discriminate, they do it covert, not overt. You know,
Mm.
everybody wants to think of themselves that they are a good person. Now, coming on to talking about relationships and things like that, you know, have you, Selena, have you had an experience where somebody thought that maybe starting a family with a person with disability, maybe somebody you've worked with, or so, the child, if they end up starting a family with the person, the child will end up maybe inheriting this disability? And
Mm.
how do you go about that? Because it's not like you know, it's not something that you can just easily inherit like that. You know, there are different
Mm.
types of disabilities. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. So yeah, I've had experiences, and like you rightly said, the perception out there is disability, some disability, or all disability are contagious. Therefore, when you give birth, your child or children are going to inherit it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Myself, I have a son, and he's perfectly okay. He's perfectly okay. My relationships have been, from the onset, I tell the person that I'm in a relationship with, even if it's a blind date, that this is who I am. Gone are the days when we don't have this WhatsApp and maybe Facebook. Very few people are there. We talk. I tell you who I am because I've had an instant whereby I didn't tell the person that I work with the crutches, and when the person saw me, he didn't even let me see that he has seen me. He just went. So
Mm.
I vowed to myself that before you come for me, I will let you know who I am, what you are coming for.
Mm-hmm.
So since then, I never, hide my situation from anyone. But sometimes it's not about the man or the person you are in a relationship with. It's the family and friends.
Society.
Yes, society. One instance whereby we've been in, I think, 1 year relationship and we wanted to take it to the next step. And he comes to tell me, my sister saw your pictures. I gave her the first picture, which was a portrait, and she said, "You are beautiful." And then I gave her the second picture, which is a full picture of you with the crutches. And she asked me, Emayina, is this what you came for? Is this what you're going for? And I said, okay, so that's your sister. What about you? What are you saying? What do you also think? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be you and I. So what's your take? And he told me that's the sister, that's the big sister. So if the sister said no, why not? So, I didn't cry over sports milk because, I don't want a situation whereby I'm going to do things for them to like me. Even if you are doing things like naturally, it's as if you want to impose or you want to impress them. No, I didn't want that. So I let it go. I let it go. You know, sometimes you as a person with disability, you have to also step on your ground. Yes, it is emotional, but then sometimes, excuse me to say, have it at the back of your mind that it's not everyone that is going to accept you in the family. It's not everyone that is going to accept you. Even the person that you are going out with, if the person is not that strong and the love between the two of you is not that strong, then one little comment from someone is going to destroy you.
Yeah.
It's going to spoil your day. So I think it depends. It depends on the person you are going out with or you are in a relationship with. If the person is strong and the love is strong, fine. But if it's not, then I think there's a question mark.
Wow. Wow. Okay. I wanted to speak to Alidu too, but I think he is off now.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not off. Please, you can.
Okay. So the question is like, if you are in a gathering or at an occasion or whatever, and you see it in people's body language that they are behaving in a way that is not correct. I mean, they are kind of like, maybe for a lack of a better word, put off by you. How do you address the situation in that instance?
First of all, I want to put this thing across. We also, people living with a disability, want to go out, have fun, enjoy with other people, just
Right.
like the way other people do enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And the question that you just asked, the truth of the matter is sometimes when you go out, you'll be invited to a party,
Mm-hmm.
but when you see those who even seated there, you coming to sit in their mix,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them will even do what? Even stand up.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of them will even stand up and move from their table to another table and leave you alone over there. It happens to me several times. But as for me, I usually take it as normal. I don't need to tell you anything. I don't need to tell you that you can do this or you can do that. All that matters to me is who I am. If you don't like me the way that I am, fine. I don't care about that. It was first that I usually feel down, at the same time cried a lot in my room and feel emotional seriously, that I'll not even talk to anybody. But as things are going on, I found out that there's nothing that I can change or there's nothing that I can do. But the advocacy that Auntie Vero has been doing, that one is the one that is pushing a lot. But as for me personally, I just don't mind whatever the person does or not. I just look at you and move on with my life because I have my life to live, not for you.
Right. Right. So, as we all know, sometimes you are the only disabled person in a family, because it's just
Yes.
something that's happened, And this was a question that was on my mind last week. How is the growing up in the family? What was the kind of support? Because in your cases, when I think about it, as a parent, if I had a child that was, living with disability, I think I will have to really build that child up really well with confidence for that child to be able to, be able to live in this society, because you can tell that there's a lot of cruelty in our society. when it comes to persons living with disability. So I'd like to ask you how your childhood experiences were like, and if what was the kind of support you received from your families? Maybe we will start with Selena.
Okay, thank you very much. Gone are the days whereby they they tell your parents where you're in silver. Excuse my language for those who don't understand. God's children, the children for the gods and all that.
Yeah.
For my case, for instance, my parents were advised to leave me at the riverside because I had
Wow.
convulsional attack,
Mm-hmm.
and I was injected. Mind you, I walked when I was a baby. I walked. I was even walking when, due to the negligence of a nurse, I got injected, and that affected me. So they've been going around looking for solution. They sold virtually everything, including the carpet that was in the room. They sold everything. So they were, you know, I'm the firstborn of my parents, so you can imagine giving birth to a baby for the first time and going through the stress. I don't know. I just wondered how they were able to come by. My parents did everything to support me. So the last thing that broke the camel's back was when my mom, according to my mom, she told me she went to a place where they dug a hole, a pit, and then they buried half of my body. So from my leg to my waist, yes, they buried me, and it has to start with 5 6 o'clock in the morning to 5 p.m. And she is supposed to also chew atadre. What's the is it
Tiger.
atadre? No, no, no,
Tiger.
no, not tiger nuts, not tiger nut. Abe, palm candle.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
She's supposed to chew it and bring out the juice so that they will mix it with medicine, herbal medicine, and then rub it around my waist. My mom says she chewed it, and she's supposed to get I think a bucket. The
Jesus.
juice has to be like a bucket. She called the community to come and help her, but they couldn't even get her. She had this swollen all over her face. So they have to move from where they were to a different place. But
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'll commend my parents is that they never gave up on me or my education. Look, if you have a person with disability, I think the best thing you could give that child is education. If I might not be a graduate or I might not have that highest qualification, but I can speak, express myself, I can write, I can read. That's the most important thing. If you give me a platform, I'll be able to talk
Mm-hmm.
because of education.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to build my confidence because of education. If they had left me in that village, by now I would have given birth to, men would have been taking advantage of me, and Maubebre, you can just imagine. Yeah. And sometimes it's not their fault. It's because they didn't have the proper education to even take care of yourself. This menstruation, how to even take care of yourself as a girl. It's a whole lot of education for
Mm-hmm.
a person with disability. So I commend them. For me, I got the support from my parents, but it
Mm-hmm.
was the society that almost discouraged them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Alidu,
Yep.
yeah, it's your turn now.
Okay. As for me, we are 7 in number. I'm the second born. My dad has 2 wives, and my mom is the second wife.
Okay.
I wasn't born like this, though. That's what she told me. That I felt sick, then I was taken to the hospital, and that's the end.
Hmm.
Yes. That's how it all came about. But I can't pinpoint what really happened. I can't lie. So I can't lie. And as for me too, I remembered vividly one time I was sent. This one, it wasn't my parents that told me because I could remember very well about this. They brought a man to the house. The man could smoke cigarettes, and then the smoke on my leg. I had a lot of cuts on the leg that said they were going to revive it so that I'll stop. I'll just stand up and walk. They did a lot of things on me. You have to go to different places, prayer camps, everywhere, just for me to do what? To work. Walk.
Again.
Yes, again. And for the support aspect, my parents did not even, the way that I want to say it is, they didn't even abandon me. Despite the fact that I started school late because of my condition, because I was on the floor crawling, so I wasn't using crutches then. So sending me to school is an issue before I started using the crutches, before I started school. Yes. My parents were very supportive. My siblings also the same thing. At first, in the community, people were shunning, but later they became close. Yes, they became close. Because I live in the community. I don't know whether you've heard about it, Nima, where it's so populated and a lot of people. And whether you like it or yes, you go out. So going out sometimes, unless people from your community who knows you that will even come close to you. Those who don't know you will not even venture coming close to you. But gradually, when we go out through some of our friends, then we became friends with others. And then through that, we start moving to other communities. So as for me, the community has been a bit supportive, just as my parents. And mostly it is my friends that I could say that they are most supportive. And whenever we go out, they make sure that they are in their mix. If anything, they say, "Oh, let's go together. Let's go together." I am the person that normally don't like going out because of the way that I think that whenever I go out, people just be looking at me.
Right.
I don't like going out. Yes, because whenever I go out, people just looking at my leg. Sometimes one guy look at my leg. I have to look at his face at the same time, look at my leg and say, is there something wrong? So I look at him and look at my leg again twice before he remove his eyes. So yeah, so I thought, okay, fine, it is nothing, but you have to go out. So because of that, now I don't have any issue. Just go. Whether you look at it, you don't look at me. Meet them a call, and also the support of my family, my brothers, and the friends around me that pushed me to where I am today.
Okay, thank you. Veronica?
Yeah, before I go, I want to share an experience. When I was doing my national service at the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, there was this colleague of mine. Anytime they were eating, because we were all doing our national service, we were eating together, but people were favoring us with food and, So anytime they were eating and I went to put my hand inside, she would stop eating. And then one day I had an accident. I fell. And I was rushed to Gapua Hospital. There was nobody to come take care of me, so they asked her to come. And it was the only chance she got to really get closer to me. So she was telling me that, Veronica, you know the reason why I didn't like you to eat with us. I said, no. He said, I'm afraid of your leg, the way it looks, He said, I've always been afraid of your leg and you. That's why I've been shunning you. Then I said, now you are close to me, you are holding me, you are touching me. Are you still afraid? She said, no. I said, okay. Now, with the support from my parents, my father had many children. I don't even know how my number. My dad died recently and I was surprised to, but with my siblings, I have had that full support from them from day one. And my dad sent me to boarding school throughout my life. She said, Veronica, we are not going to be here with you all the time. I have to teach you how to be strong. You need to be strong. So you have to move away, even though he was worried when he was sending me to the boarding school. But then he spoke to me. He gave me reasons why he has to send me to the boarding school. And because of that, he even sent one of my siblings to the same school with me.
Okay.
You know, sister, kudos wherever you are, so that she could help me in the boarding school. My father has been very supportive, and they gave me that same opportunity that he gave to my other siblings. And when I'm with my siblings, I don't even realize I have a disability. We do everything together. They include me. You know, I don't feel different. It is when I go out, what come from society.
Wow. Okay. We have Florence Nightingale Quat. She says, "Good evening, Sister Amma." Good evening, Florence, and welcome to Amma Mindset Network. Today we are talking about persons living with disability, and when it comes to blind dating, relationships, and so on. Okay. So now I would like to ask, when it comes to like marriage itself, you know, like if you're able to go through the I think this question will go to you, Madam Veronica, because you have gone the full, you know, we've gone through the dating scene to the marriage scene and so on. So I'd like to ask you, when it comes to the marriage itself, marrying a person um, uh, who is not living with disability, and this person, you know, parents have accepted you, you know, and everything is set. You get married, the family accepts you, you are trying to raise kids or family together. Why is it then that even at this stage, some other problems tend to crop up again? Because one would think that,
Hello?
hello, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see myself. I
We
think
can
the
see you.
Can see you.
oh
Check your cam.
Check your camera.
okay.
Yeah. So I was thinking that one of the biggest challenge that everybody has said now is once you go through the stages, you know, of the relationship, and it's the family that will always say something, and then it will make that person want to leave you. But if you're already married, that means, shouldn't that mean that the other family has already accepted you fully?
Nancy, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's okay.
Yeah. So my question was, if you're finally married, shouldn't that mean that the other family has accepted you fully? Because, you know, once you marry somebody, then that means you have accepted that person into your family. And I'm sure once you are dating, the other family has seen that you're already disabled before you come to the stage of marriage. So would it be fair to say that once you get married, then all of the other problems you have to deal with are normal marital problems, but not something to do with your disability again?
Yeah. Nice question, Nancy. One, you know, relationship issues are generally difficult. Like we said last week, coupled with disability, it is more difficult. Like you said, well, someone will think that once you've been able to go ahead to get married, then the rest of the issues are flimsy. Is that the right
Marital
word?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but one, it could also be that even though the parents are not in full support of their son or their daughter, because he or she want to go in for you, they'll have to throw in their full support. but it doesn't then mean that they are in full support of the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And two, Selena rightly said that if this person you are in the relationship with is not, depending on the maturity level of this person, the
Exactly.
pressure from society, and I also don't know the reason why. If you know that you will not be able to face it, because we know the consequences of going in for a person with disability. People stigmatize you as well. People tease you. They say a whole lot of things against you. So let me use this opportunity to advise people that people who think they will not be able to stand the pressures if they don't have that mental fortitude, they should not try going in for a person with disability, because it is not easy.
Thank
It's not
you.
easy. Yeah. When I came here, a lot people said a lot of stuff to my partner. Sometimes he shared them with me. So if you are not mentally matured, you will not be able to handle some of these things. And sometimes when we had problems, he tells me like, and everybody is saying this and that, and I didn't mind, and I went ahead with you. Now look at what you are doing. And I say, are you with the people? Are you with the people, or you are with me? You see, so the pressures of society and even family members who may not come open, but probably they do it secretly behind the scene. So Nancy, I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question, but this is all I have to say.
So let's hear. Maybe Madam Selena would like to add something to that.
Well, me, I always say that I don't force people to like me or love me. Yes, I don't believe in that, because when someone says that he or she doesn't like you, they have already made up their mind. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is up to you to be yourself. One or two things may trigger the person that, oh, maybe he or she get closer to you. Unless you get closer to the person
Mm-hmm.
before you know who that person is. So I'll play my parts as a wife. I'll play my part, but I'm not going to do that extra thing for all of them to say that, oh, because you want to please us, that's why you are doing this. No, if it is in my capacity to help, I will. If it is not, I will not kill myself. No, that's me. I will not kill myself. But what I will have to do, I will do it.
Right. So
Yeah.
if this discrimination continues itself, even when you end up finding a partner or a husband or a wife, how does that affect children who are a product of this union? For those who, I'm asking this question for those who have children, do you feel like the kids are also discriminated against in a way? And how do you build these kids up for them to have enough confidence in themselves to keep pushing forward and not let anybody bring them down?
Okay, so can I answer that?
Yes.
So with my son, I always tell him that, look, this is who your mother is. Under no circumstances should you feel ashamed of who your mother is. And when you meet someone like mommy, respect that person, love that person equally. You get it? So I remember we went for one disability program, and a lady's crutches fell. I saw the passion that my son felt. He ran to the lady to help her.
Wow.
You see, yes. So it is your child. Train the child how you want the child to be. Let the child love you. No matter what, you are the mother. You
Mm-hmm.
will not get any mother anywhere. And when you see the bond between my son and I, it is lovely, because I've trained him to love me. I am not emotionally stressing him, or I'm not emotionally, blackmailing him. No, but I have made him know that I am his mother. He came out of my womb. So no matter what, there's no way he should be ashamed or embarrassed. No.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember one day I fell in the room, and he came to meet me. I didn't want him to see that I fell. And when he came, mommy, why? What happened? You could see the passion in his eyes. And he felt it. Mommy, let me help you with his little hands. You know,
Oh.
I have big back. So he holding me alone was like, it was funny. So I had to, and look at his small arms and he's trying to, raise this big woman like me. And then I just fell flat and then I held him. We laugh it off. And that, he wanted to cry. So no, you shouldn't cry. You should rather help me. And we're cool. You see, so it is up to you to train the child to love you. The child will love you irrespective of who you are. Thank you.
So Florence Nightingale says that I am a mother who have two special needs children, and they are growing. So I'm learning from you. Thank you, Florence. We are also here to learn. I find this segment, I mean, this topic very, very educative. Alidu, if you're still there, I don't know if you have children or not. I'd like to know how your children are faring and, how you build them up when they have type of,
I don't have any.
Okay.
Again, I'm not married yet, but I intend to. That's the truth. I'm not married yet, but I intend to. If it's happened, fine. If it does not, too, fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I
Nice. It will
usually,
happen.
It will happen.
amen, amen. But there is something that I usually do. Children that are not even mine, I teach them a lot because I organize extra classes for children.
Okay.
Mm.
Yes. So the extra classes that are organized for them, those who normally come, we talked, I teach, then at the same time educate them concerning me myself, telling them that look at me. Does not mean that I'm a curse. Does not mean that whenever you want to approach me, you should feel afraid of anything. I even let them touch the leg and see, and touch me and touch theirs and see if it's not the same. Yes, I do that. Let them touch mine and even touch theirs. So through that, whenever they see you, they can easily approach you. That's the way that I do my things. Yes.
Mm.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree with that because I feel like most of the education, the ignorance is because even from our primary schools and stuff, we are not really taught about anything.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just left to our own imagination of what's true and what's not true. And it's all very mystical to us. And people grow up with all kinds of weird ideas in their head because nobody ever even, told them that this is the truth about disability. This is how it happens or it can happen. And there's nothing mysterious or, there's no myth inside of it. It's something that just happens. It's like having a sickness like malaria or having different types of sickness, asthma. It's so many different things. And that it's not because it's a curse or we are not educated in our schools.
Yeah.
We're not educated about that. So we just hear some things in our community, some whispers of some things, and then we grow up with these imaginations that are false. Anyway, let's
Madam
come to
Nancy,
yeah.
I'd wanted to say something.
Yes, please do.
When I was in senior high school, right,
Hmm.
we used to have worship, and I always go for worship. I love to sing at church. So when it's time for worship, I go. And I noticed one thing. We used to invite pastors, new pastors that comes to worship with us. So maybe after singing and then through prayers, I will see them around me by force. Excuse me to say, by force. Some
Wow.
take my crutches away from me to walk. And
Wow.
yes, they take my crutches away from me. It happened about 3 or 4 times. So I stopped for a whole year. I stopped going to church because one pastor will say, I have seen you walk. And someone who is, excuse my language, has been healed or receive a miracle, do I have to get the assistance of people to be able to walk? No. I'll have to walk from the campus to the dormitory, and it is not a small distance. All in the name of people helping me, and my legs, they become weak. They seize my crutches. So I think it is high time the pastors, we also have to address this issue. Yeah, religious bodies, we know that it is not the will of God for us to be disabled. But I feel that in the Bible, the Bible said when Jesus healed the blind, he took it was gradual. He said, "What can you see? Do you see?" He said, "I see human beings like what? Like stones."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the second one happened before he was able to get the complete healing. It is gradual. It is faith. I always say that for me to even come to the church, or for me to even come for the program, that alone is a faith. Is the biggest faith for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if I am not healed and you are forcing me, it is not only school, at churches too, the same thing happens. They will be praying for you by force healing. So me, I stopped going to churches that has been doing you are healed, and it sees my crutches. Oh, sister. Hmm.
No,
Many breasts are not
and
making you.
I partly also blame the school, because once I send my child to school, my child is in the care of the school, and the school should not permit such a thing to happen, because one, even if the person comes to the worship and the person is there, it's not the time or place for you to now put this person through all of this kind of, for me, it's another kind of like emotional torture you're putting the person.
It is. It took my headmistress. It was my headmistress that said this thing has to stop. The
Yeah.
person you said she's still has been, on Sunday they say I'm healed. They take my crutches. Now I have to go to school on campus, and then people will see me with the crutches again. Hey, Selena, I thought you were here. I said, "What's a munjame?" And they thought I was doing myself, or I love it in that
Yeah.
situation. I said,
It's
no,
ignorance on their part.
yes, because at the end of the day, I will feel body pains. They'll be holding my hand. So
Mm-hmm.
I use them as my crutches. I ride on them as my crutches. This is
Right.
sometimes 1 week, Krana me see class, all in the name of healing. This thing too, we have to actually we have to attack it,
We'll
because the
find time
religious
No,
body,
and
I
address
think
that. Yeah.
yes,
for
we have
parents,
to address this issue.
I think
The
for
religious
parents
bodies.
parents with children with disabilities, this is something that you have to set clear from the very first day. If you leave your child in the care of a school, like in a boarding school or something, you have to make that clear that my child is not here for that. I brought my child here to get an education. If you
Mhm.
have any kind of church service or bring any kind of guest pastor, or please, you can do whatever, do your normal church service, and do not, you know. It is even something that GES can, even the Ghana Education can even stipulate that we do not allow on campus miracle service or something. If you come there as a pastor to do a church service, please just do a normal church service and go. It's not the time where you will be you know, delivering
Forcing
people,
it. Yeah.
friend spirits, and all of that. All of that should not be allowed to happen on campus. I see
Mm.
that Betty has joined us. Betty, good evening. I don't know if you can hear us.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah, I
happy
can
you
hear
can.
you.
I'm so happy you joined us today. We wanted to talk to you last week, and I think your line was, not helping. We are still on the same topic. We're talking with persons with disabilities, and we're talking about relationship, dating, families, and
Yes,
all.
please.
We are currently talking about experiences you have. I don't know if you have a child of your own, and if you have a child of your own, how is your child coping having a parent living with disability? Hello, Betty. Can you hear me?
No, I don't have a child of my own.
Okay. But what has been your own personal experience when it comes to like relationships and dating as a person living with disability?
Well, I don't have a child of my own, but I raised the children of my siblings. And yes, please, I can hear you. Yeah. Actually, I don't have a child of my own, and I raised the children of my siblings. That's my nephews and nieces. But surprisingly, they are not shy to introduce me to their friends that this is my auntie. I remember my nephew, I hugged my niece, and then I wanted to shake his hand, and he was like, "Ah, Auntie Betty, why do you want to shake my hand? Come on, let me also hug you," in front of his friends. And I was surprised. Since childhood, when I introduce him as my child, he doesn't feel shy to say that, oh yes, she's my mother. Sometimes they'll ask, "Are you sure?" Then they'll ask, "Didn't you hear what she told you? She's my mom." She's my mom. That's what they have been saying. And I don't feel they are proud to have me as their auntie. They are very proud. Very, very proud.
And about
when it comes to relationship too, like it's not all that rosy. I have a story. Yeah, I have a story to tell. I was once in a relationship with a certain guy, and my family, my parents accepted him very well, but he told me that when he takes me home and his mom starts to insult me, what will I do? And I told him, if your mom insults me, I'll insult her back. Why would she insult me? Because I'm a disabled. He said yes. Already he told her about me, and she's angry that if he doesn't when he brings me to the house, I'll not find it easy. And so I told him, look, if your mom insults me, I'll also insult her. I
why
will
would
not
his
be
mom
shy.
insult you in the first place?
And it just ended it. It just ended it. That was it. That was it. And truly, truly, if you insult me because I'm a disabled, I'll insult you back. If you insult me because of any other thing, fine. But because I'm a disabled, I'll not forgive you. As for that one, I'll never forgive you.
I have blood.
Sorry,
I have blood. I have blood.
yeah.
I'm
Betty, my question to you is, why would that even be a test? If the woman known to be a very quarrelsome person, why would that be a test that if my mom
Hello.
insults you, what will you do? Can you hear me? Betty, can you hear me?
Oh,
Hello, can you hear me?
We
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you,
hear
Betty.
Network.
no, I think it's network. It's not
It's
good.
not okay.
Please, if you can hear me, I can't hear anything.
Okay, then maybe you can hang up and come back inside this thing again. Just log out and log back in again. My question is, why would I even be a test? Like I have dated people, but nobody has ever asked me if I bring you home and my mom
Hello,
insults
if
you.
you can hear me, I can't hear you very well, please.
Log
The
out.
line is breaking.
Log out. Let's see.
Maybe Betty can log out and log in again so that we just continue. Okay. I don't know that people are just facing kinds of. Let me see if I can. I don't know if people are facing this kind of weird, tests and questions, which I find it to be quite inappropriate. Why would somebody insult you?
Hello.
Betty, if you can hear us, please log out and log in again because we can hear you, but you cannot hear us.
Hello.
No, maybe Akosia will have to take her out.
Yeah, because if you can hear us, can you please log Betty out?
Oh, how I wish I can. Yeah, I can hear.
No.
Anyway, so let's move on.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell that Betty is a no-nonsense type of person. She is fed up with people trying to walk all over her, and she's ready to face you if you come at her, which is, in my opinion, it should be a fundamental human right. Nobody should be insulting anybody in the first place. We are all grown-ups. We should be able to have discussions without you thinking because somebody is your son's wife or something, and just go ahead and insult the person. Anyway,
Nancy, also, I think that the guy was asking Betty this question because of the experience he probably has had with his parents. So he was trying to psych Betty. That is why he probably went like, if my parent insult you, and that insult, I think that is referred to their attitude and some of the words they use towards
that they will,
right. Some of their utterances that they use for persons with disabilities. Yeah, and also about persons with disabilities and raising kids. For instance, my younger sister's daughter, I was out of Ghana before she gave birth to her. But my sister told me that sometimes they see persons with disabilities and the daughter is afraid. So one day she has to actually sit the daughter down and say that your auntie has a disability. So if you should meet her, will you be? And they've been speaking to me on phone. So she asked her, if you should meet her, will you put on the same attitude? It's not nothing. It's just a disability. She told me she actually explained to her daughter. And from then, I think everything is okay. She's quite receptive to persons with disabilities. I don't have any issue of my own. So in that regard, I don't have any experience to share.
Okay. All right. Betty, you are back. Can you hear us? Hello, Betty. Betty can still not hear us. Of course, please take Betty out. Yeah. I know that the network can sometimes be very bad. Okay. Ali is here. Ali, would you like to add something to what Betty said according to, like, this people testing you to see if you're patient? Because I think it boils down to something we spoke about last week, where people think that people living with disabilities are very impatient.
Aggressive.
Yes.
There is one particular line that I normally draw whenever I'm in the midst of people. I make sure that we can all talk, chat, and laugh, but this particular line, don't cross it. When, as Betty said, that one is the truth. When you insult me because of my disability, if you are not sure, I might take the crutches and hit your head. Oh yes, that's the truth. I might hit you with the crutches because the disability, I did not buy it. Neither did I create it upon myself. It happened where I don't have any control over it. So when you insult me according to my disability, get ready to fight as a man. Either you beat me or I'll beat you. Simple as ABC. We can easily do what? Insult ourselves, no problem. We can do foolish things. It doesn't matter. Sorry for my language. But insult my disability, which I did not buy at the market. Oh, get ready for it. As for that one, I will not like to. Get ready for it. Yes,
Yeah, well, I think insulting somebody just because of their disability is very, excuse me, is very hurtful. It's very, very hurtful because nobody chose that. They don't
Yes.
have a choice. So why would you even insult somebody based on something that they cannot choose for themselves? Okay, now Betty is back again, but I still think she can't hear us. Betty, can you hear us? Betty can still not hear us.
You
Well,
can.
we've already spent an hour together. I would like for us to start here. So if anybody has any last words to say, or if you can use this opportunity to tell us a little bit more about the Challenge Foundation, I would really appreciate it. Hannah,
Okay. Yeah.
and before you do that, can you please, Akos, can you please take Betty out because Betty is still very good.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Nancy. Last week, before I tell you what the challenge, and I'd like to appeal to Selena and Ali to share the video because we are trying to reach a wider audience.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, and we are fortunate to have this platform. It's quite bigger than my own.
Sure.
Last week, Nancy, as you asked a question whether we should say that, okay, then persons with disabilities should intermarry.
Right.
Yeah. And I saw Coach wrote a comment that it comes down to choice. I think that it will be unfair to say that two people are a match because they are in the same predicament, which is a disability.
You have a hot
Mm-hmm.
mic. Mic is hot. Can you check and turn off all the mics so that we can hear? Let us turn off our mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I start or I can continue from
Please,
there?
you can continue.
Okay. So it will be unfair to say two people are or are a match. I mean, when it comes to a relationship, because these are people who have the same predicament, which is disability. Then, because there are a lot more factors why we fall in love with somebody.
Right.
It could be somebody who believe in your belief system, your value system, and things like that. So this person could have a disability, but it could be that probably he does not have the other characteristics that I would want of a partner. And then also it will be breaching the concept of diversity and inclusion.
Right.
So I think that for me right now, I don't mind whether the person is somebody with a disability. If I find the other stuff attractive about the person, I don't mind. If I don't find those things, I will not go in for the person just for the fact that he has a disability. Okay, right. So that's about it. So it should be open. It should actually be open.
Right. It's just the same way you cannot say, oh, white people should just marry white people and black
Yeah.
people should just marry black people. Everybody should be free to marry whoever they want to. Or you can't say tall people should marry tall people and short people should marry short people. That is also not possible. Everybody should be free to choose who they want at any time because we live in a free world.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the Challenge Foundation, we want our voice heard, like we are doing here. So by this, we do advocacy and sensitization. We have a network, a group that all these people you see here are in the group. You see, when you belong to a group, you share your experiences. And then these allow other people to know that they are not alone in some of these problems. And so we also form parent self-help groups, and we try to give them some training to be self-advocates, to speak on behalf of their children. We also empower persons with disabilities. We equip and develop their skills. the skills of PWDs, and then bring them together. So I've even been sharing some of your videos about opportunities abroad on the platform. I just pray that they will be serious and then go clicking some of those links. I've asked them to follow you because you see, most of us are only on disability platforms, and some of those things are not brought onto that platform.
Platforms, yeah.
So the platform of the Challenge Foundation, we even barely talk about disability stuff. I try to bring other opportunities that are made available for other non-disabled persons into this domain, so we can also get access to some of these things.
Yeah,
We also do coaching and mentorship. If any of us, I'm learning from Amma. Amma is my coach. So sometimes I use some of those knowledge that I get from her to advise and mentor some of them. If it's beyond me, then we find people to come on board and then talk to them. And we also serve as an emotional backup to persons with disabilities. So basically, this is what the Challenge Foundation does.
Right. Well, thank you very much. Before we sign off, Anidu and Selena, would you like to add something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yes, I'll add something later. I would like to say thank you for the opportunity. This is a bigger platform, and I've been following Auntie Amma for quite some time now, but I've not been consistent because of work pressure and all that. So this is a good initiative, and I would love to come on board again if I am being invited. I also like to say thank you to Sister Vero. Ever since I met her, she has really given me a lot of opportunities, and if I've not said thank you, I want to say thank you once again. And to our parents out there, to every mother out there, to every father out there who is battling with the maybe having a child with disability, all hope is not lost. Just give the child the best of education, um, and then train up the child to be sorry, to learn how to be self-confident and also self-reliable, so that it's not always that someone is going to be around them. It's not always they are going to depend on people. For instance, I don't want to depend on a lot of people. I always want to be an independent person. So teach your children, persons with disability, how to be an independent person. I think it's going to help us a lot. Thank you.
Thank you too. Alidu?
Yes. When the first I met Auntie Vero through Facebook, and she said, I wanted to us to have a live video about things concerning people with disability. I said, are you sure? Can you contain it? And she said, yeah. I said, okay, no problem. We will still go on. And we started. And through her and foundation, we had a lot of classes concerning how to control our temper and a lot of things. As Charity said, we want to say thank you to her because we learned a lot from her, which now.
Oh,
he's gone.
Let's just wait 30 seconds to see if he will come back. In the meantime, I'd like to say a big thank you to Amaman for creating this platform and giving most of us an opportunity to have a place to air our, our opinions, to hear discussions, and to speak on issues. She has been an inspiration. Those of us followed her and she should continue to share her views and give us different insights and intakes, concerning general issues, and also bringing our minds to certain things that some of us are even ignorant about or don't even think about. So until hear from the foundation, today we'd like to sign off. We have learned a lot. I hope whoever watches this, please, when you have somebody who is a person living with disability next to you, just treat them normal like you would any other person. They are also our brothers, they are also our sisters. At any time, at any point in time, we can also be a person. This is not due to a curse or any fault of anybody. It's just one of those things that happens in life. So, Madam Veronica and Madam Selena, I'd like to tell we love you very much, and we thank you for coming to educate us, our minds. We hope to see you again. As this is not going to be the last time.
Sure.
Thank you very much, and have a nice Sunday evening.
Nancy, before you go, I want Selena to come on the parenting forum.
Yeah, sure.
And probably discuss disability and parenting, how difficult or easy it is. So probably you could invite her. Yeah. All right. Thank you. We love you too.
We love you very much.
Bye.